Welcome to my class on Buddhist meditation and Buddhist philosophy and Buddhist cosmology. Let's start off with a little Buddhist history. Let me see. Buddha, the historical Buddha, is named Shakyamuni Buddha, Shakyaamuni, or sometimes instead of SH it's just S without the H, but it's pronounced Shakyamuni Buddha. He was born in 563 years before the Common Era in India. He became enlightened. Enlightened means complete and permanent happiness. Amazing, isn't it? Or Buddhahood. The word Buddha isn't his original name. Buddha just means awakened. And Buddhahood is complete and perfect enlightenment. And it's beyond just plain liberation, plain nirvana. I think liberation, you do it for your own sake, but Buddhahood, you do it for the sake of others, and you go through what's known as training for Buddhahood, or where you are a bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is a being that is in the process of becoming a Buddha and is motivated by bodhicitta. Bodhicitta. Citta means mind, and bodhi is is enlightenment. So bodhicitta is a mind of enlightenment, or having the attitude or spirit of enlightenment. In other words, doing every action for the benefit of others and for the benefit of yourself, actually. The paradox is that to attain the highest possible happiness, you want to forget about yourself. So that's the paradox. How to attain that perfect happiness for yourself by forgetting about yourself. And that's what the Dalai Lama calls wise selfishness. In other words, you do want to be selfish about it and go ahead and do the best you can towards being as happy as you can. But you want to do that with a motivation of, okay, I'm going to do this for the benefit of others. And that way, whatever action you perform, you're making sure that this will not hurt others. So, okay, what did I say about Buddha? Shakyamuni Buddha. He was born in 563 years before the Common Era in India. He was enlightened about when he was 35 years old, and when he became enlightened, the gods, Indra and some other god, asked him, hey, why don't you take some time and start teaching others about how they could become enlightened like you are? And the Buddha said, okay, I'll do that. So he spent the next 45 years teaching, and he gave 84,000 different teachings, and they eventually recorded it in sutras, like for the Theravada Buddhists, the Pali Canon, and there's versions for the Tibetans, the Tibetan Buddhists, in their sutras. They're pretty similar to the Pali Canons, and Everything's pretty much the same. But in addition, the Tibetans have scriptures called tantras, and that involves tantric Buddhism. There's also tantric Hinduism, but there's a little difference. So you find Tantrayana or coming out of Tibet, and it's also called Vajrayana, but Tibetan Buddhism is also considered a Mahayana Buddhism, and that's also considered, the northern schools of Buddhism are considered Mahayana, and the southern schools are considered Theravada. But within Mahayana, it considers the teachings of the sutras, or original teachings. They're considered Hinayana. So the Mahayana says that we have to have a strong foundation with Hinayana sutras or teachings, like basic Buddhist teachings. And then Mahayana emphasizes bodhicitta and becoming a Buddha, that it's possible for everyone to become a Buddha, that all sentient beings can become a Buddha. And sentient beings include animals, and sentient beings have minds. So animals have minds, and minds are consciousnesses, and minds aren't born and then die. It's the bodies that are born and die, and in the body is the brain, and it's just a computer. But the mind is something that inhabits a body from conception and leaves it in death to inhabit another body. And between lives, it's in the bardo, or in the afterlife. So the main thing that's studied in Buddhism is the mind, but not just the mind in general, so much as one's own mind, to see how it functions and how we can steer it, how we can control it, train it, and guide it in actions that cause the greatest happiness for ourselves and others. So the sentient being is a being whose mind is ignorant, whereas a Buddha is a being who was once a sentient being but became enlightened by totally purifying his or her mind of ignorance and fully imbuing it with the qualities of compassion and wisdom. So how do you do that? Through Buddhist meditation. How can Buddhist meditation get us to enlightenment? Well, Buddhist meditation teaches us to cleanse our minds